This is Brittany Kraus. I'm going to give you a quick overview on Math Expressions, the website, and how to kind of look at the curriculum using the website. The login for Math Expressions is a little bit complicated, so I've given you a tutorial on the Google slide that this video is embedded in, just so that you know. General education teachers should have gotten logins from Susan Scheller at the beginning of the year, and ASR and PLS teachers or paraprofessionals, you'll need to talk to the gen ed teacher that you, whose grade level you are using in order to kind of use their login. You will need to fill in the country, state, and then for district, you're going to hit state operated school. There's a lot of, this is like all of the school districts in the state of Minnesota. And so you want to hit state operated school, and you should be able to find Spiro Academy under there. Make sure and hit remember my school, and then also make sure and save the password and login information, since most of you guys will probably be using somebody else's. When you log in right away, you are going to find kind of this menu bar with resources at the top. This is the main area that you are going to be using. I'm going to show you the first grade level curriculum because that's what most of the ASR and PLS classrooms are probably going to be using. This is the teacher edition right here, and so I'm just going to click on that. And the nice thing about this curriculum is that all of the resources and everything are online, so it's pretty user-friendly. There's a menu bar over on the left here. You can see contents, here's additional resources, some bookmarks, notes, and then the page view. I usually like to see it in the 2-page option. Here's some other kind of, there's like a little quick start guide to kind of give you an overview in case you don't want to watch my tutorial and instead want to read. So in the contents, we're just going to click on that and go over to Front Matter. This is the cover of the book, and I can honestly just click through the entire teacher guide, right? There's every single page is going to be on here. These are kind of the core competencies and areas that they are going to be looking at in Math Expression. So we're doing quick practice. We really are going to do a lot of what's called math talk. They're building student leadership, and they've got some other kind of components. Those are the structures of kind of the Math Expressions. I'm going to show you guys just a few things. You can definitely look through all of these different areas. The pacing guide is the one that I usually look at right away because I want to get a feel for our curriculum and where we're going to go. So here I've got the different units that I'm looking at. Unit 1 is partners through 10 and patterns. And so one of the things that you're going to want to recognize in this curriculum right away is that in each of these units, they're covering multiple different areas. And so just like everything else, we're going to be choosy about what we teach and what we use, okay? So for example, Unit 1 has got partners through 10, and it's covering patterns. Now, as an ASR teacher, I usually did a unit on patterns either at the beginning of the year or in like the January time when I kind of wanted to reassess, because it's a fun hands-on way for kids to work on math, and it helps give me a little bit of time to do some assessments, and it's pretty easy for them to kind of play around with patterns. And so I probably would skip this patterns unit or this patterns chunk at the end of Unit 1. I would only do number partners. And just an FYI, number partners are the same as number bonds. It's just their own language for that. So that's something that you might kind of want to look at. So you can also see it's got some basic suggestions, and then it's got the number of days. As special ed teachers, we're probably going to ignore a lot of those things because we're working on modifying and making this fit our students' needs. So another thing that I want to draw your attention to is that in each unit, they have what they call our big ideas. And so those are the main things that they're looking to teach, okay? And so I'm pretty sure that each of them have one. Oh, this one's got 4. I was going to say 1 to 3, but yeah, there's a few big ideas that they're kind of working on in each of the units. So the big idea for big idea 1 is going to be numbers through 10. And bigger idea 2 is going to be patterns with partners through the number 10. And so I'm going to be working on probably these 2 big ideas. Find and create patterns. So I'm probably not going to be working on that big idea. Okay. And so those are kind of little ways to help you get started and understand how to organize your thinking around this curriculum. Okay. So we can go through and look at all of the units in here and kind of have an idea of where your students are and kind of where you want to start. Here are all of the math standards. And then it's going to get going on the Unit 1 planning chart. So this, again, is one of the areas that I really like looking at because it helps me to see what the activities are and kind of what I'm thinking about. And so it's got some resources that you're going to be doing. We've got our big ideas that are highlighted in different colors throughout the lesson here. It tells me what standard and then which resources I'm going to be using in order to teach lesson 1. So this is something that that I would definitely try and use to kind of help you get acquainted with the curriculum, okay? And so again, it's talking about the math standards. We've got some information about assessment, and I want to draw your attention to this area in the curriculum that's called the math background, and that's getting ready to teach Unit 1. So each of these units are going to have a little background section that will help you to kind of determine whether your students are ready to learn this material. As special ed teachers, this is going to be a really important area for us to look at because it's going to help us to know if we need to pre-teach anything or kind of where we're going to be modifying the curriculum and pulling things out. For example, we've got some math expressions vocabulary. So we're going to want to teach the term 5 group, break apart, math mountain, partner, and switch the partner. So those are things in the teacher glossary that you might want to take a look at. Most of you guys are going to be able to kind of figure that out once you look at it too in the curriculum. So, oops, sorry, I'm trying to add notes, but I don't want to do that. All right. So it's going to give you kind of some detailed understanding of what exactly your students need to know in order to dive into this chunk of the curriculum. Math background, we've got more here. I want to draw your attention as well to some of the different areas that this curriculum is talking about. So they've got the math process and practices. This curriculum uses a lot of vocabulary and has the students talking a lot about their thinking. So this is one of the things that you guys might want to think about, kind of how you're going to modify this and differentiate it for your students, whether you're going to add some visuals in or whether you're just going to leave this whole kind of chunk out. So yeah, this is kind of giving you examples of what the math talk is and what those different areas of the lesson plans are, okay? Daily routines is going to be kind of the same thing. And then the next thing I want you guys to be looking at is the quick practice. In every single unit, it's going to have a few different quick practices. Those are just essentially warm-ups. So you'll see these in the lesson plan, but you do not need to do these. A lot of times what I did was pick 1 or 2 of the quick practices, and I'll show you later where all of those quick practices are located so you can kind of look at them all at once. But you can just pick and choose which quick practices make sense for you, which warm-up activities make sense for your class. You definitely do not need to do all of them. But here's the quick practices for Unit 1. It's talking kind of about our learning community and what we're going to do. Oops. And this is where we're going to get started with the lesson plan. And I'll show you guys a little bit more about that in the next video.